In 1500 BC, what would become the fifth oldest and largest bald cypress tree in America sprouted, growing to become 125 feet tall and 3,500 years old. Named the Senator tree, it and its sister tree, Lady Liberty, are two of Florida's oldest pieces of history.
Even some of the indigenous people who lived here before the Europeans ever arrived used the big tree as a landmark for, I don't know if we call it navigation, but also when they knew where the Big Tree Park was and where the big tree was.
These trees being so impressive in stature and history draw the attention of many. Even our former president, Calvin Coolidge, paid a visit.
Here people would come by steam-powered paddle boats down the St. Johns River, and they would dock at Sanford. And there's even pictures of people taking horse and buggy rides on the trails to go see this giant bald cypress tree. So it was really kind of Central Florida's first tourist attraction.
Despite the park's protocols, just over 10 years ago, the Senator tree burned down, thanks to a woman who decided to smoke crystal meth inside of it.
So after a while, they just said, yeah, it's going to fall. And it was really hard for us to imagine something that had been there for 3,500 years was going to fall, and we were going to be there. And eventually it did do that. There was a crack and a groan, and it fell and collapsed kind of on itself with a big thud, and there was just silence for minutes. We were all just in shock. It was a really moving experience and really sad.
Everyone was very distraught, but I don't know whether, I think we're angry at the young woman, but we also knew that it was done. You can get angry, but it isn't going to change the situation. The tree's gone.
We knew we couldn't just leave it lie. That was a suggestion, that just let nature reclaim it, and that would be an honorable thing for such a big tree. And but we said we got to do something to memorialize it, to keep the senator's legacy living on.
Taking remains from the fallen tree, multiple artisans created art from these pieces, ranging from carvings to vases. These art pieces were distributed to multiple museums in Florida. In fact, right here in Oviedo, you can find a carving in the Lawton House Museum. These art pieces truly captured the beauty of the Senator tree's legacy.
We were distraught when the Senator was burned down, but now we'll wait another 1,000 years and Lady Liberty will grow as big as he was.
For More TV, I'm Delaney Warner reporting. Just last week, Governor Ron DeSantis announced that the new class, AP African American Studies, will not be allowed to be taught in Florida due to violation of the Stop Woke Act. Oviedo High School was slated to be one of the schools to teach the pilot of this course next year, the teacher being Jessica Jenkins.
When you go to college, you have opportunity to go dig deeper into certain subjects, like they have AP Euro and AP Art. This is, not really any different than that. And it really gives us a chance to highlight all of the contributions and success, art, culture.
The Stop Woke Act, signed in 2022, states that schools are not allowed to teach certain concepts that allude that a certain race, color, national origin, or sex is superior or oppressed in any way.
According to the governor, there was stuff in some of the later modules on intersectionality, which is when you have sort of different interactions between different groups and sort of shared oppressions type stuff. I know there was some queer theory in there as well.
And in the pilot program, the good thing is you would have options to address those particular problems.
While AP African American Studies has been at the forefront of everyone's concerns this past week, OHS still currently offers an African American History honors class that teaches similar content.
It's kind of the same way. It goes over many of the same topics you go over in U.S. history, but it allows you to dive deeper into those, to highlight individuals from the Gilded Age, from the Harlem Renaissance. You hear about Carnegie, you hear about Rockefeller, but you don't hear about the first woman millionaire who was black.
So far, we've learned a lot, and we've only been in the class for like 3 weeks. I think anyone should join. I personally believe that Black history shouldn't be a part of a political agenda. I believe that. I think it's just something that people should choose to learn about and educate themselves on.
Although this information may be discouraging to Florida educators and students, it's not necessarily the end of the story.
The College Board could come back with it revised to address the concerns that were brought up by the administration and the state education department. So it may come back in some form or fashion.
Again, I'm not here to tell students what to think, but how to think. And this is just going to give them an opportunity to be able to continue to do that and, again, hear a different part of the story.
For Roar TV, I'm Delaney Warner reporting.
As technology advances, the engineers of today have been able to create a system that may never allow another school shooting to happen ever again.
Zero Eyes is a company that uses artificial intelligence along with our current camera system to recognize weapons. So for example, if someone were to approach the school or take a weapon out of a bag on campus in view of our cameras, Zero Eyes would recognize that, and it sends an alert to those of us that are tied into the app, as well as district personnel and law enforcement personnel, that there is a weapon on campus. It actually sends us a picture of the person holding that weapon and gives us a location of where that person is.
That image goes to a third-party dispatching center where human eyes will validate the image as to whether it is actually a firearm.
Firearms are the second leading cause of death among adolescents, and over the past 50 years, schools have seen over 1,300 shootings, and that's in the U.S. alone. With the advancement of Zero Eyes, students are being given that extra layer of protection.
I definitely feel a little bit more safe. It's an interesting concept though, but if it works, it would be a safety precaution that would help a lot. I don't know how practical it will be because the cameras don't cover every square inch of the campus, but if it helps detect something early, then I see no problem with it.
Not only can Zero Eyes detect weapons instantly, but the AI of the system can detect the movement of the threat as they move across campus from camera to camera.
We've looked at artificial intelligence and machine learning for the last 3 years in weapons detections, and we feel it's the next generation of detecting weapons.
We have it on not all the cameras. We have it on a good number of cameras throughout the campus, and it is being monitored as we speak.
Zero Eyes is already in effect. It's already going. They've tested it several times. Each test has been successful. So it is active, it is up and running, and it's fully operational.
Not only is Zero Eyes here at Oviedo High School, but the software goes beyond school grounds as some tourist attractions, commercial travel, and live events have the program installed as well with one mission: stop threats at first sight, not at first shot. From Roar TV, I'm Brianna Bubona.
Christmas is approaching, and there's no better way to share the Christmas spirit than to decorate. Scott McKeel goes all out for the holidays with his dancing light display. Using a series of computers and cords, this complex programming with help from online forums has a great result.
What I've done through the years is made it bigger. It started small, and every year I add something little to it. It used to be with Vixen 3, which is a free program from the internet. And then when I added the RGB pixel matrix, I needed better programs, so I started using X-Lights, another free program. So that's what I use to generate the sequence files. But then when I started adding the projectors to do the projection mapping, that's with Heavy M, which is a program that actually cost me money. And then I use Falcon Player Plus, and that's what runs the whole show from a couple Raspberry Pi 3s.
A main component in this process is the Raspberry Pi, a compact, debatably cheap computer. But the programming process only takes up a fraction of the time.
It takes me about 12 hours to set it up. And then that's why November's always tough, because I set it up for Halloween and I've got 8 hours to tear down the Halloween and 12 hours to set up for Christmas.
Scott doesn't only go all out for Christmas. His Halloween lights are also spectacular and can benefit from more than just cool lights.
And Halloween, Christmas is my main thing. Halloween is just a test. So if I want to do something new, I put it out there for Halloween. And like when I did the projection mapping, it was all supposed to work and then it didn't. So I spent all of Halloween, and finally the day before Halloween I got it to work. So I want to work out all the bugs before Christmas. So that's what Halloween's for.
While this light show may seem like a lot of work to some, for others, it's a great way to spread holiday cheer.
It became a hobby. Our old neighbors, they had the best display, and they used to win the Oviedo house, and I couldn't compete with them. And then I saw this computer-controlled Christmas stuff. I'm like, well, that's something I could do. So that's why I started small, and it's something I enjoyed.
But the best part about these lights is that they can be shared with anybody who wants to drive by. All you have to do is tune into 93.9 to hear the corresponding music played in your car. A popular location in his area, many people make a trip to the McKeel residence.
And I like when I'm looking out and I can see somebody sitting there enjoying the lights. That makes me want to do it more. So
we hope you have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. For Roar TV, I'm Delaney Warner reporting.